Hey guys, so today we are releasing a video talking about how you can travel for 25 days for $500. So this has kind of been a secret kept between us that we thought we should finally share with you guys, because a lot of people, especially with the coronavirus going on, want to travel, but they don't want to spend the money. And guess what? We don't want to spend the money either. So right now we are out in the desert near Arizona and Utah, near the border. And so we've been camping out here. This will be our second night.
Yep.
And we thought, hey, this would be a good time, minus the wind, to make this video for you. So one of the first things that can help you travel cheaply.
Well, before we get started, we made a list on our phone.
True.
So if you're wondering what we're doing, we're looking at our list.
Yeah,
so.
that's right. Yep. So if you guys camp, so as you can see, this is our vehicle that we go with. We've got a 2019 Ram and then a Palomino HS750 camper. And if you want to camp, if you've got a camper, if you just want to sleep in an SUV, you can go that route. But people say, well, you still have to buy campsites. Well, guess what? We haven't had a single paid campsite since we started this trip. So there's a campsite website, I guess, called freecampsites.net. If you check that out, there's free campsites all over North America. So it'll share coordinates with you. It'll show dates of when people have reviewed it to know if it's still open or not. So this is one of those places here that you can camp at for free. So you can have a pretty cool view, and you can even get a fire pit.
So one thing to keep in mind for those of you who are tenting it or sleeping in your vehicles, if you're okay roughing it, there will not be bathrooms probably at a lot of these free campsites, so just be prepared for that.
Yep. So what they recommend, if you're in the desert, dig a hole at least 6 inches if you need to go to the bathroom. Otherwise, if you've got some sort of porta potty or something or if your camper has a toilet, then you're good to go. So then the next thing on our list
is essentials. So make sure before you leave that you pack enough essentials for your trip, or even a little more, just so you have enough. That way, by packing this stuff, you don't have to buy it in these touristy places, so you're saving money that way. Another thing too is make a lot of the food and stuff, if you have a fridge or even dry food, buy it before the trip, and that way you have a lot of that for the trip.
Yep.
And that way it's saving you money too. So one thing we did is, most of our food that we've been eating on this trip is we go to grocery stores. So we've been going to Walmart's, and then we just make a lot of our foods instead of going out to eat. That saves you a ton of money.
Oh yeah. So I think we maybe spent $100 and something in food since we started. You can just make simple meals on the road. I mean, your ham sandwiches, your chips, eggs,
Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
yep, spaghetti,
Yep.
anything like that. Really easy, really quick to make, and it's cheap. So you don't need to be going out if you're going to Dairy Queen for every meal.
Yeah.
You're gonna spend $500 just in 25 days in fast food.
Yep. And then a lot of you who hate shopping or even grocery shopping, just buy it in bulk right away, and then you should be set to go.
Yep.
So another secret too, for those of you camping, there's a lot of places that have potable water.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did is we actually, after bottles that we finished drinking, we saved those and filled them up with water that you can boil, and it's safe to use. So that's saving you a lot of water right there that you don't have to buy. And then if you do have a camper, you can fill that up with water, so you're not having to spend anything for water besides what you need to drink.
True. And so with that as well, if you have a camper like this, or a camper that you pull, you can just fill up that water tank, and now you don't need to go to a paid campground to refill your water there. So a lot of the gas stations will have it, and then there's a couple other areas too that you can fill up. And for those, you just have to look it up on the internet and do some research. So let's see what else we got. Alright, so next thing, so this is our second day here, and at a lot of the spots that we've gone to, we don't just show up, take a photo, and leave to go to the next spot. You want to actually spend some time there if you can. Some places are only meant to stop for a day or maybe two, but like Page, Arizona area is roughly where we're at right now, and we've been here for a week.
Yep. So the nice thing about not having hotels is that you can actually, say you find other cool things in the area, you can actually stay in that spot longer than you anticipated.
We'll go over here.
It's a little windy out here, so.
Pick a side. There we go. Yeah, so if you can stay out here, I mean, we made it through a tank and a half of gas. So with something like this, we get 12.5 miles per gallon roughly. So people go, wow, that's not very good. But okay, with gas being $2 a gallon, if you fill up 20 gallons in your tank, okay, that's $40. And then do that 1.5 times during the week.
Still cheaper than our room, so.
$60. You just got all your gas for the week with less than a night of a hotel.
And if you're traveling with a good vehicle that gets good gas mileage, you'll be doing even better as far as spending money on gas.
Yep.
So for those of you who actually want to find a place to stay, your next good bet is Airbnbs.
Yep. So Airbnb, a lot of people are like, wow, isn't that a little skeptical? You're staying at somebody's house. Yeah, you can either rent the house or you can rent a room in the house. And everybody has been reviewed already with their driver's license to make sure that they're okay to host there. And they review you as well because they want to make sure that you're okay to stay there, that you're not going to do anything bad. So Airbnbs, depending on the area, can save you a ton of money. Usually if you go on to do like a hotel or something. When I went to Yosemite National Park, we stayed about 40 minutes from the park. So it's a little bit out of the way. But if you stay at a hotel in the park, it's $500 a night, and our Airbnb was $40 a night. So if you can just do some research on Airbnb, you can get places from like $20 to $400 a night, depending on how fancy you want to be or where the location is of it. But you can do a whole trip alone just with that. If you say, oh, I don't want to take the camper out, I want to spend a little over $500. Yeah, Airbnb is a good bet then, especially if you've got a family and you need a lot of space.
Yep. So another thing too, before you go to a lot of places, do your research. So you want to know as far as how the roads are, conditions, where exactly it is that you're going. That way it's going to save you a lot of time on your trip. And also, say you drive all this way to a spot and the road's crap and you can't drive on it. Okay? So you lost how much in gas to get out there.
Yep.
And you're bummed out because, well, you couldn't go to the spot you wanted to go.
So a good example of that is this spot. So right before we shot this video, this was all wet. And you can actually still see some puddles. It downpoured, and there are ruts on the road going here that are probably 1 foot to 2 feet deep. And if you get that by you, you're gonna be in trouble unless you've got a big Jeep or something.
Yep.
But make sure you do your research, otherwise you could blow a lot of time. Let's see what else we got. So another thing too, which in our case this works out well, find a travel buddy to go with. So yeah, you can travel solo. The cost might be a little bit more because you can't split it with somebody, but if you can find someone to go with or a group of people and say, hey, you know what, let's all take this vehicle and we're gonna go on the road for a month, you can go do that and split the costs. And so like for us, we split the meals, we split the gas, haven't had to split campsites because they're all free. Propane we've only needed to refill one time, so that was like $20, so that's pretty cheap too. But if you can find someone to go with, it'll help a lot. So the biggest saver, I guess, out of all of this is if you can do free campsites. Lodging is always one of the most expensive spots of the trip. So if you're okay with camping out at places, I mean, why wouldn't you want to camp here? And if you camp here for free, you can wake up, watch the sunrise right over there the next day. You don't need to drive out here. You don't need to get up early. You're already right at the spot. And the other thing that's nice, there's one vehicle there and one vehicle there. You're out of the way of a lot of the noise.
Yep, so you have a lot of the privacy to yourself, and that way you don't have neighbors to wake you up or
Yep.
any of that. So
For sure. So anything else that we have?
let's check.
All right, so I guess that's about it. I guess in the end of it, you just got to try and follow those steps if you want to do the same thing that we've done. Like I said, lodging and gas is the two big things. And depending on the time of year and what the gas prices are, those prices could go up or they could go down. Right now we've averaged, $20 a day. That's really cheap for traveling, especially when you're only getting 12.5 miles per gallon. But we drove all the way out here from Minnesota, Wisconsin area. And once we got out here, it's very short runs from spot to spot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like we're driving 1,000 miles a day or anything like that. So our costs are pretty low.
Yep. And another thing too for younger people, I know a lot of times you don't think about this. Make sure your vehicle's in good condition before you take a long trip, because if you break down or something, it's going to be pretty expensive. So,
Yeah.
I mean, spend the money, get your vehicle checked over, make sure everything's working, and that way you should be good to go, because you don't want to have a breakdown on a trip.
Yep. And for anybody that might want to take up this and go, hey, you know what? I wonder if I should take the camper out. Well, I'll tell you what, this is our first time ever having a camper. We just got this a few months ago. I've personally never stayed in a camper. I don't think you really have either. So we were just biting the bullet and said, all right, let's put some money into a camper. Yeah, it's going to cost more than a hotel at first, but in the long run, if you're going to use it a lot, what you're going to make back on it is going to be so much more. Because if you spend $15,000 in hotels and then all of a sudden, okay, you spent 15 grand, you'll never get that money back. With a camper, you can put that money down, go travel, and then someday if you say, hey, I want to sell it, maybe you'll make half or more of that back when you sell it, and so then you'll be money ahead.
Yep. And it's really not that bad living in a camper. I mean, we pretty much are only in it to work on editing, make our food, and sleep. So it's not like we're living in it totally. And this is a good investment for people who want to be on the road for quite a while. So,
Yeah, yep. And we've been in it now for about a month, and we're still good with it. So we've got a shower, we've got a queen size bed, stuff to make food, a couch. I mean,
yeah. And you got propane. We try our best not to use it if we don't have to, just to save it.
Yep.
So, I mean, just bundle up, put some clothes on, and you're good.
Exactly, yep. For sure. All right, well, if you guys have any questions, just feel free to comment about it. If anything was confusing or unclear, we'll be sure to get back to you as soon as we can. And then if you want to like, subscribe, share it, we appreciate all the shares that you give, because we're trying to get the Infinite Explorers page to spread even more. So we look forward to talking to you guys soon.
Yep.